This is not a video about body language. Body language is only the surface. What's underneath is older and harder to look at directly. You already know the feeling. You walk into a room believing you are ready, and somewhere between the doorway and the chair, your body starts telling a different story than the one in your head. Your arms fold, your shoulders round forward, your eyes drop to your phone for no reason at all. You didn't choose this. That's the part worth sitting with. Carl Jung spent much of his life studying the gap between who we present to the world and who we actually are underneath it. He called the presented version the persona, the mask built for approval and safety. Beneath it, he said, lives everything the mask can't afford to show. The fear, the smallness, the parts of you still waiting for permission to exist fully in a room. Your body doesn't lie the way your voice can. It doesn't perform. When your persona says, "I am confident," and something underneath disagrees, the disagreement shows up physically, whether you allow it to or not. So the real question isn't why you look weak sometimes. The real question is this: what is your body confessing in these 8 small ways that the rest of you has not yet been willing to admit? 1. The arms. You cross them in a conversation that matters, not out of boredom, out of instinct. The arms fold over the chest to protect what's vital, the way they've done for the entire history of the nervous system. It is one of the oldest gestures a human body performs, and it has never stopped meaning the same thing. Something in here needs shielding. You are not closed off to the person across from you. You are trying, in the only language your body has, to hold yourself together while looking like you don't need to dot to the eyes. An idea gets challenged, and you look away, just for a second. This isn't guilt. Eye contact is exposure. It says, "I am fully here, and you may see all of it." When any part of you senses risk, even social risk, it withdraws from that exposure instinctively, the same way a hand pulls back from heat before the mind decides to move it. You look away not because you're hiding something. You look away because being seen in that moment has been mistaken for danger. 3. The posture. You shrink. Shoulders in, chest low, chair pulled tight to the table, as if trying to leave less of yourself in the room. This is not humility. Humility is chosen. This is older than choice. It's the body deciding, quietly and without asking you, how much space it believes it's allowed to occupy, which raises an uncomfortable question. If you only take up the space you feel you deserve, how much of your life has been decided by a number you never consciously chose? 4. The hands. A knee that won't stop bouncing. A pen clicked without noticing. Fingers finding the edge of a sleeve and worrying it in a small, repeating motion. This isn't anxiety leaking out at random. It's a valve. The nervous system generates more alertness than the moment requires, and the body finds the smallest possible motion to release the excess. Because sitting in stillness with that much unspent energy is its own kind of unbearable. The story you tell yourself is, "I look nervous." The truer story is, Some part of you is working very hard right now. And this is the only visible evidence of that labor. 5. The voice. Every sentence lives slightly at the end, like a question. I just think, maybe, if that's okay with everyone. Søren Kierkegaard wrote about the particular anxiety of standing before your own freedom. The vertigo of realizing you are allowed to simply state what you believe, with nothing to hide behind. Upspeak and constant apology are one way the body avoids that vertigo. Turn the statement into a request, and no one can reject you for having made it. You never fully arrived, so you can never fully be refused. But notice what this costs. You don't apologize because you were wrong. You apologize preemptively, so the room shrinks you before it has the chance to. 6. The nod. You nod through an idea you privately disagree with. Steady, constant, agreeable, long after your face should have stopped. This is what's sometimes called an appeasement pattern. A signal built to keep the peace by broadcasting harmlessness. It kept people safe inside small, dangerous groups for most of human history. It still activates today in rooms where nothing is actually at stake. Because the nervous system doesn't check the calendar before it reacts. The nodding was never dishonest. It's a strategy built for a world that no longer exists. Still running quietly in this 1.7. The retreat, a handshake, and then an immediate half-step back. As though the greeting used up whatever courage was available. People who feel they belong hold their ground after contact. People who don't reclaim distance instantly, keeping an exit within reach in case the room turns out to be as unsafe as some part of them expected. You don't step back because you dislike the person in front of you. You step back because part of you still isn't sure this space belongs to you too. 8. The glance. Someone is speaking, sharing something that actually matters to them, and you check your phone. Not from boredom, from something closer to defense. Full presence means full exposure. If you are seen truly listening, you can also be seen truly disappointed, or moved, or hurt by what comes next. Looking away, even slightly, keeps one foot outside the moment, just in case the moment turns against you. We call this distraction. Alan Watts spent much of his life pointing at how rarely human beings are actually where they are. How constantly the mind stands one step outside its own experience, bracing instead of arriving. The glance at the phone is a small, modern version of that same old flinch. Put all 8 together, and they stop looking like separate habits. Crossed arms, lowered eyes, a smaller posture, restless hands. A rising voice, a steady, agreeable nod, a retreating step, a wandering glance. They are not evidence that you are weak. They are evidence that a part of you is still negotiating with a threat. That stopped being real a long time ago. Jung would have called this an unintegrated shadow. The parts of yourself still operating on old instructions, still protecting a version of you that no longer needs protecting in quite this way. Albert Camus wrote about the discomfort of living fully inside your own life, instead of performing it from a safe distance. That discomfort is exactly what these 8 small movements are built to avoid. Presence is a risk. The body knows this before you do. None of this means you are broken. It means you have been surviving, in the most literal sense, using a system built for a world that mostly doesn't exist anymore. The work was never to perform confidence better. Performance is just a more convincing mask, and the mask was the problem to begin with. The real work is quieter than that. It's noticing the next time your arms fold, or your eyes drop, or your voice lifts into a question, that this is not weakness. This is an old part of you, still standing guard at a door nothing is coming through anymore. So here is what stays with you after this. What would your body do? In the next room you walk into, if it finally believed the war was over,